Hi sisters, welcome back to my channel.
Renette Lorenz describes the figure of the freak as an icon of general and body deviance, opening up theories of the violent and interpolating histories subjected to the abnormal. However, we argue there now exists the representation on a drive to distance from societal normativity and to be seen on one's own terms. In this short documentary, we explore the subversion of gender and the icon of Renette Lorenz's freak as a figure of societal deviance. We will also explore the historical contention of society's desire to fix the freakish and the empowerment of individual autonomy through body modification for gender representation.
The incorporation of fluidly embodied, socially constructed, and self-constructed aspects of social identity is accompanied by the ever-changing interaction of these factors with the narratives of the individual's lived experience. These explicit ideas are what distinguish transgender theory with feminist and queer theory. The lived experiences of transgender identities brings rise to challenges involving the nature of socially defined identities. It questions whether identity categorized through gender requires a fixation on the physical body. It also brings attention to the question, what if one's experienced oppression is the forcing of conformity to a socially constructed identity category that they do not actually identify with? Transgender experiences and theories therefore challenge heteronormative assumptions of gender and sexuality and identity and its nature, revealing how it cannot be fully addressed by feminist and queer theories.
In other words, it is the undoing of norms. This concept of norms derived from Foucault's Discipline and Punish, where he explains how it is used to evaluate and control us effectively, excluding those who cannot conform. In Bitterswich's Our Lady of the Flowers 2016 is a collaborative performance art which explores the notions of such transgender experience. Stemming from Jens Genet's Our Lady of the Flowers, the group builds the book's free-flowing poetics into their own experience of transness, the dynamics of denial, exclusion, and guilt. The collective is experimental with their practice. One artist, Cinnamon Templeton, talks about playing with the idea of engaging with arousal, and trying to arouse an audience is one practice that he found to be interesting in terms of manipulating people's expectation of his body. Focusing on the morally and sexually ambiguous, Our Lady of the Flowers subverts the hegemony.
The carnival is a utopian belief introduced by Mikhail Bakhtin. He describes an egalitarian space free of judgment and the flipping of the social hierarchy, a place where the freaks may be celebrated. It is in this space where the subversion of culture may manifest and power and representation are redefined. The Western cosmetic and beauty industry has seen a shift through recent years as more men are seeing an entrance into a feminine consumption space. The cosmetic industry is an example of the celebration of gender subversion and the blurring of what was considered taboo. The beauty industry's culture opts for support over gender fluidity and the normalization of construction of a gender representation that blurs the traditional masculine and feminine boundaries.
James Charles Dickinson became the first male cover girl at the age of 17 in 2016. Being welcomed into a company that was exclusively represented by women. Upon analyzing Charles's video, a clear fluidity of gender cosmetic norms can be seen. Charles himself as a male creates a strong and feminine eye makeup with larger lips while still combining it with men's hairstyle and clothing, as well as his signature snapback. He's not actively trying to portray a completely feminine representation, but often an androgynous mix. This can be observed through other male beauty vloggers as well. What is also interesting is the prominence of both feminine and masculine elements being discussed openly in makeup tutorials. Manny Gutierrez and Charles have openly referenced their facial hair in videos, with the former keeping his as a trademark, while creating still a feminine makeup look. The popularity of the beauty industry and the representation of LGBTQI culture and glingo has also created a new cultural view on pronouns. It's common for individuals to refer to themselves by feminine pronouns even though they are all identify as male. Male makeup vloggers often are fluid between both pronouns. For example, Charles, who identifies as a man, refers to himself and his followers as sisters.
Hi, sisters!
Androgynous makeup artist Jeffree Star also infamously answered a question regarding his gender. He describes himself as fluid, however ultimately, I'm just Jeffree.
Yeah. On accident? Okay. Like Andrew was like, wait, is Jeffree or what's happening?
I'm just Jeffree, so if you look at me and you're like, damn.
So what does this mean? Well, the beauty industry is opening its doors for gender diversity and breaking boundaries. There is less stigma towards what used to be considered a taboo topic. The preservation of gender norms has seemed to become more fluid. So where do we go from here? We cannot say what new structures replace the old ones we live with yet, because once we have torn shit down, we will inevitably see more and see differently, and feel a new sense of want and becoming.